Welcome to Kids Express.
Join us as we see kids express their love for Jesus
while developing their character.
on Kids Express!
Welcome. We're so happy you are joining us here for another 3ABN Kids Express. Today we're going to meet a young man who tells his friends to watch 3ABN Kids so that they too can enjoy programs like Creation is Science. I'm Aunt Francine.
And I am Angelica. Can you guess where in the world today's guests come from? Can you identify what state this is? If you said Florida, you will be correct. Let's welcome Zaden.
Hi, Zaden.
Hi!
We're so glad you're here joining us on Kids Express, all the way from Florida. So tell us a little bit about Florida. Do you know anything interesting about Florida or what you like to do in Florida?
Well, I like to go to church. I like to go on bicycle riding with my friends and Dad. I like telling my friends about Jesus. I like playing with my toys. I like watching Creation is Science. I like visiting my neighbors to see how are they doing. I like playing with tennis, tag, video games, and basketball games with my friends. And I like going on helicopter tours. I like going to Disney World.
Oh, yeah, Disney World is popular. And you said helicopter rides? You get to go take helicopter rides around Florida?
Helicopter tours. We go in the helicopter.
Very nice. Do you go for a ride in the helicopter?
Yeah, we do.
Fun! So you get to see a bird's eye view. That's really special.
Yes, I think I've seen so in the map you can see there are a lot of lakes and rivers and all types of things in the state.
You're right, especially in the southern part, there's the Florida Keys, right, Zaden?
Yes.
And I think it stretches 120 miles, and there's a lot of islands, hundreds and hundreds of islands that are strung across that 120-mile length. And that's kind of interesting. That's unique about Florida.
Yes.
But yeah.
Oh, I have something to say. Also, there is 1,300 basketball courses around Florida.
Oh, I'm taking it you like basketball?
Yes.
It's fun making hoops, right? And making the shots? That's good. Let's talk about coconut. No, let me try that again. Key lime coconut patties from Florida. They are covered with coconuts, but they have a taste of limes and, of course, chocolate on the bottom. That looks scrumptious,
yes.
isn't it?
I thought it was I think it's chocolate. It looked like chocolate.
It does.
And so I want to also mention about Florida because I didn't know that it was a flat state in the U.S.
That is unusual. You would think that another state would be more flat
like
than Florida.
Texas.
That's kind of interesting.
Yes, and the other fact is that there are 1,300 golf courses in the entire state.
That's a lot of golf courses.
I know. My uncle, he likes to play golf, and I'm like, I'm not a fan of playing golf.
That's interesting.
And then the other thing is that there are two different types of time zones in Florida. So there's a central time zone and there's an eastern time zone.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual.
Yes.
Not too many states have that. But I think we better get going on how you are sharing Jesus, Zaden. I know we talked a little bit about how you're sharing for example, 3ABN Kids Network and some of our programs like Creation is Science. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I share Bibles and Christian books and toys with others. I tell my friends that Jesus loves them whenever they are sad. I bring gifts for my neighbors. I tell friends to be good whenever they are being mean to each other or to me. I invited my friends to church. I teach my friends how to say grace before they eat. I told my friends to watch 3ABN. Creation is science. Many of them are now watching, learning about Jesus is science.
I like Creation is Science. It's kind of a fun program with Professor Roy, and you see all these experiments. I mean, that's a great way to lead them into to watching some of our programs, because they're hearing about Jesus, right?
That's
Our Creator.
wonderful. You are witnessing by letting them know of some of our programs on 3ABM. You know, one of my favorite one is Creation Crafts. I like Creation Crafts.
I do too.
Yes, because they were making an ocean and it was blue, and they were putting fishies in the little ocean jar, and then they would get a magnet and they would move around the fishies. That was so cool.
Fun. Have you made it yet?
No, not yet, but I just watched it.
So Zaden, tell us a little bit about how you are really influencing your friends. Talk to us a little bit about it. Share what you're doing and some of what's happening.
So I have been praying and inviting my friends to church, and finally one friend by the name of Elle came with me on Sabbath. It was her first time going to church, and she loved it and will be coming again. But next time I'm with her brother Jack and their mom. My other friends like Veronica and Essia and Liam want to come to church with me, but they have to go to their dads on the weekends. But I pray one day they will come. They have started reading Bibles now.
Wow. So you have planted a seed.
That's so wonderful.
And so one of your friends actually came with you to church, and then the next week they came with mom and the brother. Is that correct?
No.
Oh, no?
No. Like, I think next week.
Oh, they're coming. They hope to come next week.
Yes.
That is exciting. That's something that all of us can do, and isn't it rewarding to see that your prayers, God is answering it and planting a seed through the Holy Spirit that's influencing them and wanting them to come? And even your friends that can't come just yet, you don't know what kind of influence you're making. That's powerful.
Yeah,
Zaden.
that would be so special if your friend could come to church.
So all of us have people that we could be praying for and inviting them to church. I really like how you're doing that. What's rewarding for you, Zaden? How does it make you feel?
They always wanted to go to church because they haven't went to church, and they were asking to go to church. And when Elle came, that made me happy, and that made her happy too, because Elle hasn't went to church.
And you made an influence on the family. That is so powerful.
Yes.
I think we better get going on what character development do you want to improve on? If there's something that you want to be like Jesus, what would that be?
A good boy.
I like that. You said you wanted to be a good boy. And you know, sometimes we think, I want to be a good girl or a good boy. And when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, does that mean that you're bad? Does that mean you're bad? No. Sometimes we all do bad things, but that doesn't mean you're a bad boy or a bad girl. So what helps you do good things, Zaden?
I want to be a good boy. I want to be kind of like Jesus and show love to all God's people, especially those in need.
So sometimes it's hard to know what to do and to do the good things. So what helps me sometimes, for example, my family was trying to make a good choice, and that's talking about respecting and being kind to other people. But what helps us make a good choice, and sometimes is knowing all the facts about a topic, right?
Yes.
And that way you know what you can talk about. And then get creative, maybe finding a solution, and then consider what the consequences might be if you do it or don't do it, and then decide on the solution. And that's the best action to take would be a good way to deal with it. And that's kind of what you were talking about, is that we all have to make choices, right? And so what helps you make a good choice, Zaden, when you don't know what to do?
So I was in class and had to do my assigned task. But I also wanted to play a coded game called Scratch. But I prayed and asked God what to do, and He told me to stay on task and complete the work that the teacher told me to do. But sometimes I don't listen and get in trouble, and that makes me sad.
We all get sad, and sometimes we make mistakes, but I'm so glad that God is there and He's always willing to help us. And so we can know that we can do the right thing for God, right? And so we can be assured of that. So try to find out as much information, because God does want to help you make those good choices. I think it's time for our question. What's our question for today?
Okay, so this question goes to you, Aunt Francine. It's from Gabby, who lives in Florida, and he wants to know, are there living beings on other planets? That's a great question, because I've been wondering about that.
So what do you think? Do you think that
Probably
we know?
there are living beings, but...
Well, we know angels exist, right, Zaden?
Yes.
Yes,
We know that there's angels, so we know that they exist. But we know in Hebrews 1, verse 1 and 2, and in Hebrews 11:3, it says in the plural form that there are other worlds. And so we can assume that there are probably other beings around in the universe, not necessarily on a planet, like you said, in our universe, but maybe there are other planets in another universe. And we know in Isaiah, for example, that God has created this world in a special way, because He made this earth specially formed just for us to live in. So it had to be made just perfectly, because without it, if we didn't have the right oxygen, we didn't have the right air, then we know we wouldn't be able to live. So God has formed possibly other worlds, and we know that heaven is a world in its own. And so I'm so thankful that I can't wait until we get to heaven to know about other planets and other worlds.
We can ask Him about everything, because He's a creator and He knows what He made. And so that's interesting, because it's like there's pressure on the outside of the world and of Earth, and I guess that's the air or something. And when we get out of there, and like if you're going on an airplane and those little masks come out, that means that there's no air. And that tells me a lot, because there is no air next to the moon and everything, because I've seen there's people, they go to the moon and they have to put suits.
Yeah, so I'm so glad that God has made the universe just for us, and that we can explore this heavens. Aiden, aren't you excited about going to heaven?
Yes.
And seeing all the other worlds and all that God has created? I can't wait, and I know God is helping us to do what is right and making good choices. And I really appreciate you coming with us and joining us for Kids Express. And I want to thank you as well for joining us, and hopefully that God lives through you and that you can be a beacon of light for others. Thanks for joining us on Kids Express!